welcome back to my channel, Moonfire Magic. I am Diane Cox. That is the label I was given to this human suit when I came into this incarnation. And so we're doing the cards for December 2025. You know what? I'm going to confess myself now. I just started a recording on this and I was using the Rider-Waite because they wanted an outing. Well, they did have a bit of an outing. the whole first 4, 5, 6, 7 cards were all reversals, and it just felt okay. I'm not quite feeling this because I like to have obviously there's challenges in life, obviously there's things going on, and obviously are delays. Mercury's now direct, Saturn is direct, there's movement going forward. We're moving towards February 2026 where all these never before alignments of planets are happening, and so we need something good and light to hang on to. But I know how the whole tarot thing works, and I have no doubt that now I've picked up my Mythic Tarot, the same cards will appear. But yeah, that was quite intense for that. I just thought, no, I'm not doing this. It's kind of... And I like to ask all the energies that go into us connecting with our unconscious and deeper feelings of self to give us something. I don't mind, kind of stuff that means we've got lessons to face, but also you need some light, don't you? Anyway, let's see what happens. Okay. All right, the significator, the Two of Wands. Looking out December 2025, what are you going to do? Where are you going to spend your energy? How are you going to go forward? What is your next step? What does it feel like you really want to do? We've got these brand new energies coming in 2026 and 2027. These are the 3 years, 25, 26, 27, of very unusual planetary action and therefore happenings in the world. So what's going to cross the Two of Wands? Okay, the Six of Cups. So we have this card of nostalgia. What have we learned from the past that has got us to this point where we've got this decision to make and we're contemplating where we want to be? We're contemplating what we want to do. We're just kind of feeling like we've got the world in our hands, and what do we want to do with that energy? And with that, it's kind of, okay, here's Psyche sitting there after Eros has flown away because she betrayed his trust. We know the myth, and she's sitting there contemplating, reflecting on what went on, and all the cups are upright. So she's like, okay, what are we learning from this? What can I bring from the past? Or something from the past can come into this present moment to help you make a decision about what you're doing next, how you want to cope with certain situations. Okay, this is December 2025. The overarching card is the Emperor. So there's power, there's authority, there's a feeling that you are in charge. But what are you in charge of? That's the question. You are in charge. You've got the world in your hand, the lightning bolts. You are the person that everyone else turns to. You are the person that has to take responsibility. Okay, now that's quite an interesting thing, isn't it, to be in that position where, okay, what are you taking responsibility for? I always say the world will get better when everyone starts taking responsibility for themselves, for the decisions that they made, and actions that they took, words that they said. It'll all help. So the Emperor as an overarching card, and then we have Narcissus here at the root of the question. Again, this thing about love, loving, self-love. Falling, the story of Narcissus. He fell in love with himself. His mother basically didn't let him see himself because everyone used to fall in love with him. And eventually he walks past a pond one day and he sees his reflection and falls in love with himself, and basically sits there forevermore until he tries to grab himself. He tries to grab his own reflection in the water, and obviously can't possess himself and can't hold himself, and then he kills himself. And where the blood spills, the narcissus flowers came up. So at the root of this, I would say, so the Emperor's at the overarch. The root is the Page of Cups. you've got a figure of authority and responsibility, the emperor, who has to take you know, the kind of the stance of being who people look up to, who people turn to. And at the bottom of it, you know, I would say with the emperor at the top, you have to love yourself to be there. You have to love yourself to say no. You have to love yourself in order to please yourself, because I know a lot of people don't get this, it is the ultimate act of self-love. You know, people often go, oh, it's selfish. It's selfish to look after yourself, to love yourself. How can it be selfish? It's where everything starts. If you do not love yourself, how can you love anything else in the world? Okay, it's like if you don't respect yourself, how can you respect anything else? And I mean, you know, the home you live in, the car you drive, the relationships you have, you know, whatever. It all starts with the self. When you love and respect the self, then it all kind of goes forward. So, yeah, the Page of Cups. I always think with the Page of Cups, it's a bit like self-love versus narcissism, which is, again, another lesson, isn't it? Go, I love myself. I know when to say no. I don't want to do things that don't give me pleasure. I don't want to be around people that don't make me feel good. So it's that kind of thing, and then not letting self-love turn into narcissism where you think you are the emperor, which is quite interesting, because in this reading you are. But no, it's about this is what I'm feeling, loving the self and knowing how to use it, taking responsibility for it, and being an example like the emperor is. You know, the emperor is ruling, and you know, people look to the emperor. Okay, so what's in the past? Oh, I knew this was going to come up. The empress, the mother. So the emperor is like the father, you know, the masculine. Obviously, then you've got in the past, you've got here the empress, beautiful Demeter. You know, the mother figure, the loving, giving, abundant feeling of, you know, I say mother's love, and even as someone who isn't a mother, I always used to think with my clients that I did, with the massage and the hypnosis and everything else I did, it's like, you know, you mothered those clients that came to see you. You really kind of looked after them, you know, covered them in blankets, soothed them, loved them while they were there. So the Empress is that loving, all-encompassing abundance. It's also abundance of the earth, you know, it's like pregnancy, it's and that can be pregnancy literally of a being, or it can be an idea, just holding this creativity, you know. I mean, look at her, she's rounded. Look at the land behind her, the water flowing, the fields with all the crops in. So that's in the past. Maybe we've all done work in the past that is now being recognised, acknowledged by, you know, all of our team, our entourage, our spiritual team. And the universe, we are the universe after all. We are God, Goddess. We are divine sparks of that wonderful unknown supreme. Okay, what's in the future? Three of Wands. Okay, great. So Three of Wands, this is December. So take action. Again, it's Wands, it's action. Be brave, be courageous. Embrace your personal power. Embrace. See how Rufus does this every time. I don't know if you can hear him, but there he is. he'll probably do that quite a few times now. Okay, Three of Wands. So yeah, personal power. What do you get? Again, it's after the Two of Wands as a significator. This is Jason confronting the king that has usurped his father, and you know, this is where the king has told him that he'd give him the crown if he went and got the golden fleece. The king is treacherous and a betrayer. So I think the Three of Wands always has an interesting double meaning, because Jason has confronted him and basically gone, look, you know, you betrayed my father, you betrayed my lineage, my heritage, my ancestry, and the king is bowing down going, oh yes, you're so right, but he sends Jason to what he thinks is going to be his death. And so it's a card of not only power, but it's like just a bit of caution, a bit of having your wits about you, because there's this element of someone not quite being what they think they are, what you think they are. But the Three of Wands today feels like his personal power. That's what's really getting me today, that personal kind of, here I am, I'm confronting what needs to be confronted. And when you do confront things, you often feel much better for it. When you say what's in your throat, on your mind, on your heart, bothering you, when you actually express yourself clearly, openly, and you don't have to be aggressive when you're speaking a truth. You can just go, look, I'm feeling a bit annoyed. I have this phrase that I use because it's kind of Chinese and Ayurvedic kind of medicine. It's like liver. Let your liver be flowing. You don't want things stagnating in the liver, and it's all about expressing. And in the old days it was expressing joy and happiness, and then somehow it just got to be the liver was associated with anger and resentment. But in the old days it was like, yay, let's just express ourselves, let's because the liver's all about toxins and releasing toxins and neutralizing toxins. And the way you do that in life is you express. Now you might write it to yourself in a journal. You might be the type of person that likes to literally pick up the phone and confront someone like that, or have a meeting, a coffee and face to face, or you might prefer to write, like an SMS or anything. Some people prefer not to have any confrontation at all because it freaks them out. And that's when sometimes, and you get that stagnation, and you get everything that you want to say sticks in the body, which is why it's great to either go out into the forest and ask permission if you can just shout it out loud, and ask the trees if they'll take it for you, and just kind of listen to your angst. That's a nice thought. Anyway, where do we find ourselves in December? Okay. That's interesting because this is what came up with that first reading I started, the Knight of Swords. Actually, it was the page, and then the Knight came up later. So where do we find ourselves? Here we have the twins, Castor and Polydeuces, and just look at the card, look at the background. If I said to you, and you'd never seen a tarot card before, what do you think this card represents? There's two blokes on the back of a horse with their swords held high and storm clouds in the background. So that's quite funny, because after talking about the liver and getting things off your chest or off your liver, get things flowing, get things cleansing, clean, we've got this, which is, it's swords, it's talking, it can be feisty words, arguments, it can be just speaking a truth or hearing a truth. It's kind of, look at them, they're on it is a white horse for purity and cleansing and clarity, but with the storm clouds in the background, which is like, okay, don't be afraid to speak your mind. It looks like not only don't be afraid to speak your mind, but if someone comes to you, obviously there's Christmas coming up. Hey, how many families just sit around and have a laugh all day long? I don't know. I don't know these days. So there is Christmas coming up, and there's all kinds of things that come up with the festive season and shopping. I love going around shops at Christmas because I haven't got a big, massive Christmas responsibility regarding buying presents or food and all that kind of stuff. So I like just going around and feeling the vibe. But then you see people, I love it. I shouldn't say I love it, but I quite enjoy, because I love body language. I love people. I love watching people, listening to people, and how they navigate this life. And when you see couples arguing, or like someone's dropping off in the shop, and it's like meant to be a nice little Christmas outing. But okay, how do other people see this? I'm not surprised to see this here either. The Knight of Wands, that lovely gung ho, getting on with it. So we see here that the golden fleece is on the floor. The Knight of Wands here is all guns blazing, again on his winged horse like a Pegasus. And it's kind of not, when you look at the two together, the Knight of Wands looks kind of feisty, adventurous, kind of fun-ish, whereas the Knights of Swords look more, angry, what's going on. And so you've got that whole knights. Very interesting that you have these knights, isn't it? So it's quite interesting that the Knight of Wands, this is Perseus. And he's seen as artistic and go-getting and fearless. I always relate this to Lord Flashheart, just dropping in all feisty and guns blazing. But there's the Knight of Wands is idealistic, so it's interesting to be next to the Knight of Swords. What other people from the outside seeing as maybe as idealistic, just going for it, and again taking responsibility, taking ownership, being a bit like an emperor. Let's see what's the hopes and fears. Okay, that's the third trump card here. Okay, so the major arcana. It's the third major arcana, the Chariot. And again, this is like it's go-getting. You've got the Knight of Wands right next to the Chariot. Two fiery, warriors wanting to get what they want. As I always say with the Chariot, it's the black horse, the white horse, who's in control, who's got the reins, which direction is this being driven in and why. It can be exciting, driving towards something with great haste, making progress, going onwards, the galloping of the hooves, forward, onwards, upwards. But who's in charge? Obviously, he's got his battle armour on, he's got that spear in the background. It can be, a card seen as going into, again, a conflict. And I think here that like I say, it's Christmas, hey, what can you expect? There does look like there's conflict and people kind of, in their power, people who may be a little bit kind of, maybe there is some narcissistic kind of vibes around and people just thinking everyone should bow down to what one person wants. But ultimately you've got this, the Emperor. This is interesting for December. Let's see what the outcome is. Okay. So the outcome is Psyche resigning herself to going into the underworld. Okay, so this card represents going down, going deep, going into the unconscious, going into how you really feel, resigning yourself to certain things just have to happen for you to move forward. And you see, it's obviously cups. The cups are all up. Okay, so they're upright. So she's collected all of this emotional strength, this creativity, this watery ability to flow, to behold, to change shape. Okay, and here she is. She's walking down into the underworld. This is what she's doing. She's walking down into the underworld and thinking that she'll never come up again. She won't be able to obviously leave the underworld once she gets there. It's a very funny myth, this, if I remember it right. It's something to do, she has to go down and get a special beauty cream. Aphrodite sent her down to the underworld to get some beauty cream off. Now, who's it off? Because it's like not really someone you'd imagine to be in the underworld. And it's a female, and I'm thinking of Inanna and Eresh Gagal. But anyway, she has to go and get this cream for Aphrodite. Why does Aphrodite need a beauty cream? That's what I always think. Isn't she meant to be the most beautiful? But hey. So this is the outcome for December. So let's have a good look at this. So the outcome is being resigned, being brave, courageous. Let me just put this down a minute. Because this is also, I think, about being brave and courageous. Okay. And hello, Rufus. I thought you might appear at any moment. This is all about being brave and courageous. Rufus has decided that the best thing to do is step all across my lovely reading here. Yes, Rufus, what are you going to do exactly? Maybe this is indicative of what December 2025 is about. Being tolerant and just being in my emperor vibe while his tail swishes all over my perfectly put out reading. At least he's come after the whole thing is done, so that's quite good. So yes, okay, let's just take this all in. The Chariot, right? Let's take in the major arcana. The Emperor, the Chariot, the Empress, okay? Power, abundance, authority, all right? So this is the December vibe. The Six of Cups, using something of the past, maybe when you felt in charge, bringing that forward, remembering how you used to handle stuff and how you used to make decisions about what you wanted, okay? This Eight of Cups is an outcome, this resignation to going into a deep place, into, your own underworld, which is the unconscious, exploring your own unconscious. Maybe you'll be asking yourself questions this month about why you do something, why you react like that. Why did you buy that tea towel for whatever's Christmas present? Because it's not a very exciting present, but it was quite pretty at the time. Who knows what you'll be asking yourself? Why did you, drink all that booze because now you feel crap the day after? In my case, it would be, why did I eat that big load of Christmas cake? Because now I really didn't need it, did I? Even though I do love a bit of Christmas cake. So, now, Rufus's big bum is on the future card. Thankfully, I can remember it's the Three of Wands. Okay, I'm just going to look at this a minute. What does it actually feel like? It feels exciting. It feels full of potential. It feels like there could be some head-to-heads, and there could be this moment of the Chariot of I would say to you, don't let things get out of control. Whether that's in a family situation, a party situation, obviously don't drink and drive. Don't let things get out of control. And that could just be the way you're feeling, overwhelm. It could just be underwhelm. It could be, feeling lonely. It could be feeling just too much to do, can't cope with it all. Just keep everything in control with that Chariot, okay, for December. The planets are carrying on with their lovely merry dance, and that's going to happen anyway. So that the whole idea here is just to keep on that even keel. Make sure you've got things in place to keep you anchored during December. Something that brings you happiness, laughter, peace. If it means going out for a walk with your dog, with your cat, with your, what was I going to say, mongoose. But hey, if you've got a mongoose, hey, let me know in the comments below. But this up and down, this Knight of Swords, the whole kind of vibe is up, it's up, it's up. Think about the Emperor, staying in your power, keeping on a harmonious level. Don't be the one to kick off. Don't be the one to react. I always think that, it's like people will project all of their own frustration into any public place they're in, if it's a party or even in a shopping centre or whatever. Don't react, don't be drawn into people's dramas. Keep your own space sacred, light, happy, balanced, just in that lovely moment of, okay, this is not my stuff. Walk away if you have to, all right? And just, and I do have to say, if there is a moment where you have to just go, oi, enough, or just say something really true that will just make people stop and gasp, because sometimes just a simple calm sentence of whatever suits at the time can also be quite fitting. So I can't finish, just put these down because obviously Mr. Rufus came and put his big ginger butt on everything. On the bottom of the pack we have the High Priestess, and I think that is a beautiful card to have. There's the outcome, Psyche, and here's the High Priestess. There's a real echo of the High Priestess here, and that High Priestess is mysterious, beautifully trained, intelligent, emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence. Just kind of, there's an enigma about the High Priestess. There's a balance. Here she is also in white, very similar to the Eight of Cups card. You know, also coming down into, this is a slightly different, this is Persephone coming down into the underworld after she was ravaged by Thanos, you know, Pluto, god of the underworld. But anyway, let's just get on to the meaning. I mean, look at her. She's dressed in white, she's wise, you know, she's a figure of enigma, incredibly gifted, and yeah, that lovely feeling of the High Priestess. You don't get to be a High Priestess without years of training, and of course we have all had years of training, depending what age you are, and it doesn't matter, because what have you done before you incarnated? So I hope that's useful. Do ask me any questions in the comment box below, and of course add your own input, which I always really enjoy. It looks like a good month. Again, lots of potential, and a possible test of being drawn into someone else's little drama, like I say, and then just understanding the depth of you and the power of you, the Emperor and all that. Anyway, said it all now. I think that's that. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic December. Have jolliness. Obviously it's boiling hot summer here now, and but I still feel the solstice, you know, and I actually feel the winter solstice probably more than the summer solstice. But hey, it's a solstice thing, and all the other celebrations that go on around now. So the greatest, brightest blessings to you all, and what a year it's been. And obviously for me, it's not about, you know, it's not, New Year isn't the 1st of January, as we all know, and it's the depth of winter in the northern hemisphere, and it's the height of summer in the southern hemisphere. So it's not an ending or a beginning, it's a continuation, like all things are. So anyway, on that note, thank you so much for watching. Have a brilliant month, and I will be seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.